everyone, I'm Nick, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Riverbond. So, what is this? The best way to put it is it's kind of an inoffensive Diablo. So think of it as like a Diablo for the whole family, because nothing brings the family together like killing demons, right? Haha, fantastic. But no, it's a nice little title. There's a lot of interesting things to love about it. There's some stuff I feel like it could do better, but there's a lot of stuff I think it nails as well. One thing it does is provide a really difficult experience if you play on your own. So primarily the game's meant to be played with up to 4 people. You choose different skins and you run through collecting coins to increase your score, doing objectives. So my objective on this level is find the sewer key and killing enemies to get gold to basically increase your score again. But like now, you can see me just getting mobbed. It's so intense if you play on your own. I mean, I was basically going with the Dark Souls style mantra of you can dodge in this, you can combat roll. At this point, I'd kind of given up that because the slimes had been attacking me for a while and I did not do well on the level before this. But it's a case of you can roll out of the way, you can combat dodge and things like that, use special abilities as well, which are like your heavies. But it's very, very unforgiving. Like, for example, if I do use the heavy attack, which I don't use very often, if an enemy hits you at any point during your wind-up, then it cancels that attack. And like here, you just get attacked so brutally. There's contact damage in some places. Some enemies are in huge groups like this. There are boss enemies as well. And it ends up just a bit crazy, to be honest. It's so unforgiving. It's like, when you play with 4 people, it's a fun game for the whole family. When you play on your own, it's like the Dark Souls experience. Like, you will die a lot. So here I've done my traditional Dark Souls thing of either using a greatsword, so I used to use the greatsword, or using a rapier. So I've gone with a pencil because it basically acts like a rapier. You just saw me using like an ability as well that is part of the game, which is be able to pick up everything. So for example, you can pick up the chairs you can see, you can smash trees and then pick up the foliage or the branches to throw at people. You can do that with other items too. You can sometimes pick up bombs that other enemies have thrown at you. But I can't get over how brutal it is at the moment. I'm just looking at the screen and remembering this bit, and it was just, it was generally a little bit stressful. I was about to say the stress. It's meant to be family friendly, and I'm sitting here just thinking, oh no, it's so stressful. There's a lot of stuff you can find as well in regard to like items, new characters you can play as. So at the moment I'm playing as a donut, but sometimes I'm playing as a cow in this video. There's a lot of stuff as well in regard to weapons, and you have got long range weapons as well, so there are guns. The aiming isn't great, it's very much trial and error, and I didn't realise there were guns until I'd been playing for a little while. And by that point, I'm just used to wailing on people with a pencil. You can do some good damage as well with the ranged weapons, but it's quite difficult to actually get a good hit. There's some comedy in it as well, and like I say, you can pick up items and throw them, but it's not the best. It's not a perfect science. Sometimes you'll pick stuff up and throw them, they'll damage enemies, they'll damage bosses. Other times they just won't, so I kind of gave up on that quick, to be honest. The novelty wore off. There's a lot of secret areas though, like here for example, you can find your way to secret items, secret coins, different kind of weapons and things like that you can use in the levels, which is really fun. It's really fun, and it does mix things up. As you can see again, I'm just going with the pokey weapons because, you know, it's a lot easier. I just find it easier. You can just flail, but it's pretty tricky. It's quite cute. I really like the art style. I like the enemy direction as well. So here we're in the sewers and it's very much like a jungle kind of aesthetic, but in the other level you'll see we're inside, for example, an area that's all books and a library, so it's all book related enemies and things like that. This is where it gets very Dark Soulsy though, because with the harder enemies you do have to dodge, so you have to basically attack them with a weapon, then combat roll out of the way, and then just basically wail on them until they eventually die, and they will kill you fast. So it's a case of just timing your attacks and learning the abilities, and it is quite fun. I was having a good time with this. The only problem is that these 2 enemies, for example, seems really enjoyable. First time I fought them, really fun, learning the way to beat them and learning how to dodge. By the 5th level of the same thing, it is a bit boring. I mean, I'm sure it would be a lot better if I had someone else to play with, but a lot of the time you just get mobbed. I mean, here I'm playing as one of the bullets from the Gungeon, because there is like a bit of a crossover there. There's a lot of characters you can play as, and I'm just getting attacked by everyone from everywhere. I mean, my objective is to beat that statue, and there's 4 of them to collapse, so I thought I'd do it at the same time, but you just get wailed on so badly. You are killed very fast, and it is very difficult. The problem is that with a game like this, it does really suffer if you can't play it with anyone else. I mean, the same thing happened with Munchkin, but with Munchkin the AI was actively destroying any enjoyment, whereas with this I think there is a game on its own right. It's very difficult, you have to think of ways to actually overcome things. So for example here I'm about to get mobbed, but I found that I could just dodge out of the way and these enemies would shoot off the edges of cliffs. So I was timing my attacks. It felt really good, I really enjoyed this. It wasn't annoying, it was fun. It was stressful, but it was fun. Whereas with other games that have basically focused on the multiplayer aesthetic, they tend to kind of not be as much fun without someone else. And this suffers from that a little bit, but it still stands alone as a good kind of fun title as well to throw like an hour or two into. Especially if you've got like younger family, if it's kids or if it's younger sort of players. They'll really enjoy this as like an alternative to something like Dark Souls. It reminds me a lot of what they're doing with Minecraft at the moment. This whole Minecraft dungeon idea that's coming out soon is very much in the same feel as this. The environments feel really good as well, so like you can destroy everything, you can knock down bridges, you can knock down pillars and other things to fall on the ground that you can then throw bits of. To be honest, I would really have liked it if you could knock this stuff down and it would hurt enemies, or you if it fell on you, but that doesn't seem to be the case, which is a shame, because like here with these pillars, my thinking was, oh okay, I'll smash these pillars, and then the rocks above will fall on the enemies. That'll be cool. And you can see me trying to do that now, thinking, right, if I hit the pillars, maybe I can knock it onto them. But it doesn't really work. I try, and they just sort of carry on wailing on me. The other problem is the spawn shield doesn't last very long. Like that bit of immunity when you first get hit and when you first spawn, it's not very long at all. So it's very easy for you to get pinned into a corner or pinned into an area and just wailed on until you're dead. And that's a problem really. It's a shame because I would like to see a lot more in regard to environmental damage. If these rocks fell and really hurt the enemies and obscured them and messed them up, it would be fantastic because you could play a lot more tactically. It would be really, really fun. But speaking of tactically, this game also has bosses. So the boss designs are pretty fun as well. So we're fighting against a column here. This is inside the library. There's like a time bonus based on how quickly you beat this enemy. I've got like a skin of I think I'm playing as a Viking at this point. But as you can see, it gets very hectic very fast. Enemies can damage each other, which is good. But at the same time, it just makes me wish more that the environment could be used a little bit better. But it's okay. I mean, the actual fight with the bosses, it's pretty brutal. He's got quite a lot of moves, and another boss I fought, which isn't in this video, really, really enjoyable in regard to the amount of moves they can use and their animations and their actual look. Their aesthetic is really, really nice. They've got some really interesting ways to keep you on your toes, to keep you working, to beating them, and it's just really fun. I mean, like I say, it's a little bit repetitive. It would be better if you played with someone else, but it does stand alone okay. It's a fun experience for like anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. If you've got that kind of time to kill and you're looking to play something, it's on the Game Pass right now, so you don't have to pay any extra if you've already got that. It's just really fun to play. It's got a really nice sort of gameplay loop, and it is quite fun. It's just a bit repetitive. If you can find someone else to play with, you're going to have a really, really good time with this one. But at the same time, it's not a dead game if you're playing it on your own. It's hard. There are bits where it's really hard, but I quite liked that, to be honest. Like I say, there are a couple of little quality of life changes I'd like to see. So like I say, I'd like to see the environment used a little bit more. I'd like to see a bit more in regard to like a blocking mechanic for single player. So here, for example, I'm throwing items and they're working, but I don't know why they didn't earlier. They weren't working on normal enemies, but maybe it's the actual hitbox is quite small. But there's a lot I like about this game, and I feel like there is the framework here for something really enjoyable, even if you play it on your own. It just needs a little bit of polishing, but surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. I had a good time with it. I don't hate it by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't feel like I wasted my time by playing it. Just enjoyable. Just enjoyable. Some really cool bits and pieces. So, other than that, the only thing that really remains is to say thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. It really is appreciated. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out in regard to content and keeping the channel going. And as well as that, make sure you remember you can head over to www.nextstepnick.com for all the latest articles, news and reviews. Other than that, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll catch you again very soon.